Welcome this evening, and we're going to start the meeting out with a moment of silence and a salute to the flag, if we can all rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the Thursday, September 7th meeting of the North Hill School Board. And we can open up the meeting first with any board member comments, if anybody has any. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. And prior to this, the board did hold an executive session this evening from 5:30 to basically 7 o'clock to discuss legal matters and personnel issues. So just wanted to get that on the record. There being no board member comments, we could move on to public comments on the agenda items only. And it doesn't appear that we have anybody signed up to talk to the board regarding agenda items. So we are going to move on. Mrs. Bender, I don't know if you're ready for education.
Oh, sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just want to make sure you're ready before we...
Okay. The Education Committee, the North Hill School District Comprehensive Plan, the 7/1/18 through 6/30/21. Does anyone have any questions on this?
I have one question.
Okay.
As soon as I get this thing to work properly.
If you could bring your microphone down a little bit, so thank you.
Dr. Taylor, what is this Act 118 that delayed the approval or the implementation of the comprehensive plan?
Act 118 basically just put a moratorium for a year on Act 48 credits that teachers have to get and Act 45 credits that administrators have to get. And so because they did that for the credits that we have to earn, they put an additional 1 year on for our professional development plan, which is a part of the comprehensive plan.
Okay, thank you.
So basically, we approved this last year, and then they enacted Act 118, which then they would no longer, then they wouldn't approve or accept our comprehensive plan. So it's the same plan that we built. We just adjusted it a year and put in the provisions of the professional development plan.
I just didn't know what Act 118 was.
No, that's
where we are. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. The second, there being no other questions, number 2 is the AMLE grant and presentation. This is a grant for $2,000 to utilize the grant monies to provide students exposure within the Carnegie Library. Does anyone have any questions about this? Number 3, the disposition of equipment computers. This is the request to approve the disposal of approximately 275 obsolete computers, laptops, by way of the Apple buyback program. Any questions or concerns with this?
Let me just let everybody know that Apple will come in and assess the condition that the laptops are in 4 different categories, A, B, C, or D. The higher grade, A, the more money they will buy the laptop back for. So we will be receiving a check for the disposition of these $275 once, or 275 laptops once Apple comes onto site to evaluate their ability to use them basically for parts.
And is it, do you know approximately what we would receive? Or?
No, it really varies. With there being that many and the variation of grade between 1 and 4, A and D, it could be as high as $10,000 and as low as $1,000.
Now, do we put this money back into our computer
It'll go into our
program?
general fund.
Into the general fund.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? There being none, I move that the items 1 through 3 under education be added to the legislative meeting agenda for approval.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Mrs. Bender.
Thank you.
We can move on to athletics and activities, and that would be Mr. Muha.
Okay, we have one item on the agenda that the board approved the North Hills School District Competition Cheerleading Squad to attend the Cheerleading National Championship in Orlando, Florida. This is February 8th through 12th. No cost to the district. Student will miss 2.5 days of school, and this is dependent on them qualifying, but they have to put in for it now.
Okay.
So, are there any questions on that?
I have a question, but it's not on this specific trip, but it's cheerleaders. When I inquired the one time about cheerleading expenses and us purchasing equipment for them for their competition squad, I was told that they're under the WIP bill, and they follow the WIP bill rules. Will Amy put out the QPAs on all groups? Boys basketball, everybody, but not cheerleading. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if they're under the WIP bill, that should be reported, their QPA. So if you'd look into that. Okay, thank you.
Was that last year, or is that effective this year, that they're under the WIP
This
bill?
year.
Hmm?
Oh, it's been last year, they've been under the WIP bill for a few years.
A few years?
Now, maybe they didn't, I don't know, they may have not reported their QPAs last year, and I just didn't catch it. But I did this year.
Okay. Any other questions?
Mm-mm.
Okay, and I move that item 1, under athletics and activities, be added to the legislative meeting agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Muha. It appears we have nothing under Beatty, Mrs. Bender or
I
Mr.
have
Nudi, but
one
you might have
comment.
some. Please.
I will unable to attend the meeting this month on the 28th, and any board member who would like to volunteer to go my place would appreciate it.
That's the 28th.
Yes.
What time is it?
5:30.
5:30.
Okay. At Beatty, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I would like to say thank you to Mr. Muha. He attended Beatty for me last month, and thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add something real quick to Beatty? They have a skyrocketing enrollment at Beatty. 775 students in the 9 northern area school districts are enrolled in Beatty Tech this year. It's a high number that, I don't remember the last time we were over 700 with Beatty Tech, which shows the commitment of the 9 northern area schools to what Beatty is offering our kids, which is a really nice thing to have.
That's a good thing.
And we're number 2, is
Yeah,
that right?
we're
in
second to
enrollment?
Shaler.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you. Mr. Kelly is not here this evening for personnel. I'll be glad to take that in his absence. There are actually 3 items: resignations, appointments, and then changes of status. And then there's number 4 is a consultant agreement, transportation for nursing services, et cetera. So if there are any questions regarding that, I'll entertain them now. Okay, there being none, I will entertain a motion to put items 1 through 4 on the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. We can now move on to policy. That would be Mrs. Reed.
Okay. We have Policy 217, graduation requirements, has been changed. And it's basically changed due to the changes that we've made with our phys ed. They're having more to choose from. And the students, you can go on and read it, is to what entitles them to. They don't have to take gym every year. They have an elective. They can select from other things. And we're opening up the diplomas for all veterans, regardless if it's during a war or a conflict.
Great,
They need to, for the people to.
great. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Doctor?
Yeah, although it appears on the surface that physical education is a reduction, I'm working with the physical education department now to increase the number of personal fitness classes to be able to be offered to students, as well as an expanded elective opportunities through physical education. This policy is not about reduction. It's not about reduction in force. It's not about reducing opportunities for kids, but it's about expanding opportunities for kids. It's about allowing students to make choice as to what they would like their school day, school year, and 4 years in the North Hills High School look like as they build their program of studies for themselves. So that, as I always say, that we're preparing them for their future, not our past. And I think this was a move that has been talked about quite a bit. I know other districts have done it as a reduction, for a reduction of force, and that is absolutely not what this is about. This is not about reducing staff, reducing force, reducing teachers. I went over third day enrollment. with the board, and we are growing. We are a growing district. When you saw Shelby Stuman's presentations, he told us we were going to grow larger than we have been since 1999, and that's where we are right now. So I can only imagine how much further we're going to go up, as there's still, as Jeff brings me Zillow reports on a regular basis to show me the number of houses for sale in the community. And it's a great thing to have. We have a great product, and I'm proud of it, and I stand behind it, and people want what we're selling here, which is a good thing to have. So this is not about decline or reduction. This is about expansion and growth, and it's about student opportunity and student choice.
Thank you.
Mr. Nudi has a question.
I think a significant thing change in this policy is adding a required elective in the STEM area. That's significant, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mrs.
I
Reed?
move that item 1 under policy be added to the legislative meeting agenda for the second reading.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Reed. We could move on to community and intergovernmental relations. That would be Mr. Yeomans.
We have one item, and that is the election of PSBA officers for the upcoming year. You all have an attachment with the slate of candidates, and you have online voting rules, so you can go online at any time and make your choice if you haven't done so already.
I'm just looking at item.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed another.
Okay.
Okay, donation of property to Allegheny County Department of Public Works is the first item. And that is a small piece of unusable land that's not suited for future development, and that's located on Jack's Run Road.
Right. Dave, do you have anything you
Wait
want
a
to?
second.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Going back to the electing the board officers, the district has one vote, okay, and that can be done online. We have to vote as a board on collectively.
Okay.
So will we do that
Do that
next
next week.
meeting?
We do
Yeah.
that next meeting.
Next meeting, thank you.
So, yeah, review the choices for president and vice president and the other offices, and we'll
And then the next meeting, someone will make a motion
Yes.
to who to put our votes behind for president and vice president, and then we'll have it approved by the board.
Okay. Mrs. Spade?
Dave, could you tell us where this land is at on Jack's Run Road?
I think it's your backyard, it's right,
It
kind of.
probably is.
It's just only like 20 feet, it's okay. Don't worry. Just kidding.
It's on a bend in the road where there's a little bridge.
Yeah, I know where
I can't tell you the specific crossroad there, but it's
Lucerne.
it's right at the bottom of a really steep hill.
Yes, you know where, it's right.
Okay.
Is that
We own
Folsom?
the right at the bottom and the steep hill, but it's unbuildable property that was taken by the school district, the township, and the county years ago for non-payment of taxes.
Okay.
And all they want is a small piece of it along the edge of the road that they'll be using as part of their property where they're replacing the bridge.
For upgrading.
This is like where you get kind of close to Brighton Road, is it? Where
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and there's that beer distributorship and all that, okay. All right, so you're safe.
And
I'm safe.
the bridge is actually kind of more like a culvert.
Yes, yeah, okay.
I was at the wrong end.
Yeah, you were thinking the other end, yeah, okay.
You were going the other way.
I was going
Okay.
the other way.
All right, sorry.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I'd like to take a motion to enter items 1 and 2 for the legislative meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yeomans. Let's move on to finance, and that would be Dr. Nolish.
Okay, thank you. We have 5 items. We have general fund bills, construction fund bills, capital project fund bills, budget transfers, and payroll for the month of August 2017. Does anyone have any questions about the financial items? There being none, I would make a motion that items 1 through 5 under finance be added to the legislative meeting agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nolish. We could move on to support services, Mrs. Spade.
I have one, Alleys for Children Grant and Partnership. The board approved a memorandum of understanding and a grant between, I lost it. It'll come back. Between Alleys for Children and North Hills School District for the 2017-18 school year. Any questions?
I guess not.
This training is strictly for food service.
Yeah. Okay, a motion to add support service item to the legislative meeting. I move that item 1 under support service be added to the legislative meeting agenda.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, that being said, we have one last item, and that is additional public comments, and looks like we have one individual signed up to speak. Where you been all this time, Jim? I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. If you don't mind, if you would be kind enough to get to the podium, state your name and address, and prior to doing that, I'm going to, if we have it, I was going to ask Mr. Yeomans to read our public speaking, which I don't think, we don't have it. Let me just see here, real quick here. Jim, hold on just for a second, please.
It's right there.
Yeah, I know, but this is like the long version.
Just read the top paragraph.
Just read that top paragraph.
You're okay.
All right.
We'd like to invite any resident, taxpayer, and employee of the North Hills School District who wishes to address the board to come forward at this time. It is our policy to strongly encourage such public participation, inasmuch as it provides the board with an important source of ideas, as well as inform us of many concerns in the district. The board does reserve the right, however, to limit the amount of time allotted for public discussion of any particular speakers and/or issues in the interest of preserving an orderly and effective public meeting. Personnel items must be submitted in writing to the board president for consideration 5 days prior to the board meeting. Items dealing with Title I and 6 can be addressed. Some of your concerns can immediately and quickly be addressed following your comments, while others may require more research and discussion. When appropriate, you are welcome to further discuss your concerns with us following this meeting, and we appreciate your interest.
Name and address for the record, Mr. Barr.
My name is Jim Barr, I reside in Westview Borough. Tonight, I'd like to remind the administration and the board that September 17th is Constitution Day, and Congress has passed Public Law 1804-447 that it would be taught in the schools that receive public funding. And I just wanted to remind the board and the administrators of the law, and if I may quickly read it, it's very, just one sentence. Each educational institution that receives federal funds for a fiscal year shall hold an educational program on the United States Constitution on September 17th of each year for the students served by the educational institution. So I'm a big supporter of the Constitution, and I think the school district is required to do it. I do have a excellent DVD that I'd like to give to the board.
Yeah, if you could.
It's called Overview of America, which I have given the board in the past years, and that they could share with the students on
Could leave
September
with our
17th.
secretary, Jim, that'd be great. I echo your sentiments. So.
Just give it
I'm sorry?
just give it to
You can just bring it over. Any other comments, Jim, before
No,
you go?
that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good to see you again. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board at this time?
I had a question.
Please.
I didn't know where to ask it. There was an article in the paper about North Allegheny saving $667,000 over 3 years. Well, this was a volunteer. A parent had knowledge and is an energy broker,
Okay.
and he volunteered to do this service. But I guess my question is, one, I mean, this kind of money, the AIU also offers it, but their savings was above and beyond what that, so.
I'm sorry, Joe, savings in what area?
Okay, well, I printed it out.
Okay.
They said they would save the district $666,778 over a 3-year period. Right now, the AIU program saves like $375. So you're looking at an additional $300,000 of savings, so $100,000 a year. Is this something we should look at? I mean, I don't expect to get a volunteer, but would it be worth looking at a consultant or a broker?
To save energy,
or,
is what you're saying.
Mr. Kelly's not here, he's involved with the AIU. Is
Right.
this something the AIU should hire, some kind of broker that they could do this for
From a consulting
all the schools they
basis.
serve?
Yeah.
Electricity
point.
purchase.
Dave, do you have
Yeah.
anything to,
Okay.
Dave, do you have anything on this?
I kind of thought we did something like this in the past, Dave. Maybe not to that extent. I thought we looked at some energy savings initiatives that we've already undertaken.
Well, this is a purchasing agreement,
Oh, okay.
and it's obviously purchasing electricity on the open market. Don't know the details of the North Allegheny agreement. I know that we have worked with multiple people in putting together our contract, and we ended up with the AIU's program.
Okay.
In most cases, with any of these kinds of transactions, there are parameters that you have to meet. And so when they compute their savings, it's usually best case
Sure.
numbers.
Sure.
But again, I don't know the NA agreement, so I don't know whether they have penalties for not meeting certain things, or whether that is assuming contract limits that will be met that may or may not be met. Some of the biggest savings you can reach in electricity is getting your building at a lower contract level, which means you need to find a way to cut off use at a certain point. So I don't know if that involves a lot of sub-metering and automated switching.
Gotcha.
I just don't know the details of that particular contract.
Okay. I thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Okay, something to look into. All right, anybody else? That being said, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.